Maringa local government in Niger State. Well, joining me to talk about the insecurity across Nigeria is Professor Ibrahim Abubakar. You're welcome to Big Talk, Prof.
Good evening and welcome.
Well, Prof, we've been going through the pictures and, of course, trying to look at the various incident that is going on across the country. We thought that we've gone past Borno incident. We thought we've gone past the issue around across Plateau, Kano. Right now, we're seeing another incident going on right now in Niger State, and this has to do with the personnel of the Nigerian military. What do you make of all of this insecurity right now, even as these bandits begin to attack our personnel that are supposed to defend the territorial integrity of Nigeria?
The issue has been there, just as I normally say, and nobody is working on how to get the issue out of where it is. The position is, instead of us eliminating where the issue is escalating, and that has limited the military authority because of mostly not the officers but the soldiers, because no good training has been offered to soldiers for the past 35 years. And when they lack training on warfare, tactical commands and the rest, what you are getting now is what you book for. After the Oka coup of 1990, they refused to train the Nigerian soldier on most areas of commands, defense and military operations. So you don't expect a soldier that is not trained on defense and military operations to come out and fight people who are detailed on such issues, who are all well trained. Because the people perpetuating these crimes are not just ordinary people. We call them bandits and the rest, and that is the tag name. A lot of people call them Fulanis. That is a tag name. So when you tag them this way, the real perpetrators, the mercenaries, are using these people to get to their targets. And what is the target? The target is, the budget of this year is 5.something trillion, about 5 trillion, 4.something trillion for security alone, and that money must be spent. So whose life is taken, it has no meaning to them. They wouldn't mind collapse the whole of a battalion or a brigade just because they want access to those funds. That is the military and that is the security system we have today.
So Prof, you're saying that this has political undertone, if I understand you correctly.
We don't put politics in everything. I don't think it is politics. It's monetary motivation against monetary impositions. The same people, if you call them today to go and take a political position, they may not want it. They will rather die in the security position because there is a lot to get from there. So you should think, why is somebody who is due for retirement looking for extension in his office? Why should I, if I am due for retirement tomorrow, why am I looking for an extension? I'm not supposed to be looking for extension. So you see, every cadre and grade of them, they are all looking for extension. Where has that ever happened? Only in Nigeria. So what is the point? What have you not done from the day of your appointment, for the first 3 months, for the first 6 months, that you want to do now that you are due for retirement?
Well, Prof, let's talk in terms of the reprisal attacks. Even that has been the fear, that whenever a military personnel, using the case of even the Odi massacre during the then President Olusegun Obasanjo's administration, we saw what happened in Odi. And we've seen similar incidents that have played out across the country. Right now in Maringa, there is it's a peaceful community. These all incidents have played out. Should the indigenous community members be afraid of a reprisal attack from the military, even at this point?
Yeah, well, if you send in a reprisal attack on the people, the civilians, what has the civilians done? When you could not contain your own environment, your own surrounding, you waited for an intrusion, you waited for an intrusional body to come in and destabilize you, and you are talking of represent attack against Mariga local government people, or are you going to do that to the small village of Kwananduse? These are not the people that attacked you. Even as we are talking of Niger State, another issue happens in Zamfara. That Tuji Bello's group went mobilized from Zamfara into Sokoto. Is that not madness? So these people, the military, the security bodies, you also tell the people what are they capable of doing and what they are not capable of doing. We should also be able to also synergize with the communities, with the people of those areas on how to get effective intelligence and communication system. I think that is the only area where they are supposed to go. Represent attack on what? On your lapses? You have lapses already, and you are saying you are going to have represent attack on people that has walked maybe some thousands of miles away or some hundreds of miles away. Are they the people that you are going to attack, or you are going to attack innocent people?
But Prof, largely in issues of this magnitude, most times I say when two elephants fight, the grass tends to suffer. The grass in this case represents even the good people of Maringa local government. That's what I'm even asking at this point. Should they be afraid that the military will want to vent their anger on them, knowing fully well that they've lost 20 lives of their personnel?
Well, I can tell you that the reason why all these things are taking place is because we don't have security laws. If there is a security law in this country that spell it out that a military man should not go beyond this point without being asked to go to that point. A military man is not supposed to associate here and there. An officer is not supposed to do this and do that, and this is the security premises, and this is what happens to a security person. By the time the laws play out, all these things will not take place.
You don't attack, you mean?
Yeah, we don't even need arms to fight. We don't need arms to fight these people. don't need. And that is the truth. We have a nation that are peace-loving people cowed by arrogated power. So most of them act in ignorance. Most of them don't even know the laws, because those who make the laws are sitting in Abuja. Those you are making the laws for are far, far in the village, where you are not being, they are not being educated or enlightened about the laws of the society. So they don't know what to do at a certain time. They don't know if they questioned a stranger or a strange face is an offense to other people, or the so-called people who are in power. But if the people knows that there is a law and there are laws of security, even the security bodies too will call themselves to question that I'm going to commit an offense, and the penalty of this offense is this. Also, the arm carrying people will know that we are not supposed to carry arms. It is an illegal act, and this is the punishment for carrying arms, and carrying arms against a nation. So you can see that some of the states are coming for peace accord, peace meeting, peace missions with criminals, identified criminals.
Prof, let's even say alleged criminals, Prof.
We can't say alleged criminals, because you declare somebody before you declare somebody wanted. You already have gathered your intelligence, coupled your intelligence, breach your intelligence, before you can now say you are declaring this person wanted.
But just for the records, when we, in order to substantiate some of these things, where people we have evidence even against some of this person that we've alleged to be criminals, except they are proven beyond reasonable doubt before a competent court of law.
Then you should not declare them wanted. You should invite them.
All right.
It is a theory of, when you declare somebody wanted, that means you have found the person wanting, and you have done and gathered your intelligence. You have do your fundamental investigation, and you have a lot of evidence to prove your case beyond doubt before you declare somebody wanted. Anybody you declare wanted means that you have completed all the soul and completed your file. All you just want the person to do is to sign for you that I actually commit this, to complete your proof of evidence. You don't need any other information from the person. But when you are inviting somebody, it's alleged that the person you are inviting
is guilty until proven otherwise.
Yes. In this case, most time you just see them publishing a whole page saying somebody is wanted. To me, from the angle and where I am coming from, means that you have gathered all your proofs and evidence against that person, and you just want the person to come and answer to those allegations.
Well, Prof, let's talk about this attack on military personnel. It is becoming like a more of a reoccurring thing right now, from Yobe State and to other parts of the country. The bandits are no longer afraid of even invading military at their own locations right now. When bandit begins to target security personnel and take their lives. What do we call this, even within the military palace or within the security palace? Should we put it, taxonomize it within the herders-farmer clash, or we say that this is another religious clash, or we should say that this is rather, where do we taxonomize? That's on one hand, Prof. Then, on the other hand, when we look at this whole incident right now happening in Niger State, which Maringa has been one peaceful community and local government so far, from we having all of this incident playing out, can we then say that the entire country right now is totally insecure, going by this detrimental attacks on peaceful communities so far and lately?
Let's go down to the issue. We all know that you cannot just see a military station or a security station, not even talk of a military base, and somebody goes there and launch an attack freely. So there must be an intrusion. So who is this? What is this intrusional body? What is the information stimulation? What is the data of proxies between the information carrier and the information user? So there is nobody who will just come overnight and attack a military base. Not only a military base, it's any security point, even the police station. You cannot just wake up and say, we attack the police station and we send the police away. There must be an inside information on how you can come in and attack that military base, because you don't know the environment. So if anybody is telling me today that there was no military man out there that sold that base to those who attack or infiltrated into the base, then I will say no, I don't believe that. Because you must know the type of arms. You must know when I am changing duties. You must know when there is relaxation. You must know the hour of week. You must know the active hours and periods before you will intrude into any security system or unit. So without these informations, nobody can attack any security or military base. It's not possible. It's 99% impossible.
All right. So on the other question, if you want to quickly react to it, can we now say that Nigerian as a whole is under-secured at the moment?
You see, let me tell you what has happened over the time so that you will understand very well. From what we inherited was protective security. And you don't protect what you don't know. That is what we inherited from the colonial master. So everybody that was trained and still being trained is still being trained on protective security. Whereas protective security is the last form or the last platform or the last studies of security. So we left the first to the last. So our men are not adequately trained on the area of security. The Francophone trained their own on what we call management and operational security. That is why Francophone countries, you go there, you will see them with a whistle, and the moment they blow that whistle and you are driving, you must stop. So they train them on management and operational security. But the Anglophones train us on protective security. So we must know what we are protecting. And we don't know what we are protecting. And that is where we have all the errors. You start running around what you are not supposed to run around for. So we run around what we are not supposed to run around for. That is just the issue.
Prof, we've been able to highlight some of the challenges even confronting the military. But is there light at the end of the tunnel, even for the people of Meringa at this point in time? Looking at the local government and the fear that has tended to envelop the community. First, a military base, a military formation has been attacked and soldiers have been killed. What is the hope of the common man looking at all of this? Is there even a solution, a way forward for the people of this local government in Niger State?
It is not just the people of the local government. Nigeria in general. When you have a military base, you already feel secured. Now the military base is already attacked. So where is the security any longer? But if you say, is there a solution? Is there a solution? Yes. Can we redeem our image back? Yes. Is there a way forward? Yes. Can we make much out of what we already have? Yes. Can we crack these pains and relieve ourselves? Yes. Are we getting to a healing point? No. Because we are not bringing in professionalism into our dealings, security-wise. But can we be healed? Yes. When? As soon as possible. How possible? When the people who are in the corridor of power today understand that there is a need for us to address security issues of this country, bringing in professionalism. The professionals, are they foreigners? No. Foreigners will always want to sell their products. Can we be productive? Yes. Can we tackle the situation? Yes. Can we make the good of the situation? Yes. Can we get to the extent where Nigerians can move freely again? Because I remember I used to drive from Zaria to other places. I used to drive from Benin to every place. I used to drive from Ekpoma to every place. I used to drive from Lagos to other places. I have moved a car from Lagos straight to Calabar, and I arrived Calabar very late in the night. There was no attack, there was no fear, there was no issues of insecurity. But can you do it today? No. I remember sometime I used to leave Abuja by 12 midnight, and I would travel as far as Kano, as far as Kaduna, because I feel that time the traffic is very low, the place is calm, I can listen to anything. Oh, very young holy days, let me put it that way. Nobody will try that these days. But can we go back to that period? The answer is yes. We don't need all these things we are thinking of. We don't need them to bring ourselves back to that point. We only have to neutralize ourselves. We look at ourselves, go back to the drawing board, reshape the data, reshape the process, and we are good to go.
That's all. Back to the political will.
The political will will not ask. I don't know what is called political will. I think it is just the mindset It's not a political will. It's a mindset. The mindset of I want to perpetuate here, and the only way I can be here is to cause some chaos. The only way I can do this is to drive in fear into some people. The only way for me to win the less privileged is to create fear and fear in them. I think that is what we are going through rigmaroling.
Well, Prof, I want to say at this point that the people of Maringa will, at this point, want to keep their fingers crossed that help should be on the way.
I don't think the people of Maringa has to keep their finger crossed, because they committed no offense. The military has been with them for a long time. Merida local government is a big local government. Where the military base is what we call Kwananduse. But even at Kwananduse, are they supposed to be in panic? If you attack Kwananduse or attack the local government, what have you achieved? Because the report says bandits, terrorists. We don't know which one. Are they terrorists? Are they bandits? Are they kidnappers? Or are they intrusional bodies? Even as all of them are intrusional body, who have owned up to the responsibility that they carry out the attack? Nobody. So we have to censor, use human tracking, use intelligent gathering, use engineering, use technology to get to the point. The world has gone beyond the point we are in security. We are lacking seriously behind, and we are inviting intrusional bodies every day to come to our aid. Today we are speaking to UK, tomorrow we are speaking to America, next tomorrow we are speaking to German, the other day we are speaking to France, who love you so much. Who told you they love you so much and they are coming to assist you?
Well, Prof, let's not even go to this angle of that conversation right now. I understand that we have a political analyst who is already on standby to join us, even to talk about the political side of the conversation. But at this point, I would say, Prof, thank you so much for being a part of the talk.
Thank you very much.
Well, viewers, we'll go for a short break right now. When we come back, we will be talking politics, the conflicts going on in the SDP. After this break, please stay with us.
Do you know that Global Television can be watched in Nigeria and all over the world?
Download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app for Android and iOS devices to watch Global Television real-time from around the world. What are you waiting for?
Start downloading and stay connected to Global Television.
Right now, I'm being joined by David Itopa, who is a political analyst and a bona fide member of the People's Democratic Party. I use the word bona fide in order to give that credence to his personality. He has PDP in his soul, spirit, and body. You're welcome to Big Talk, David.
Thank you, Godwin. It's been a while.
Well, it's been a while, David. Let's delve into this conversation. Political instability across various political parties right now. The PDP is almost in disarray. The Labour Party is not spared. SDP is having its own fair share of all of this. Just yesterday, we saw what played out even between the SDP national chairman as against what the National Working Committee is their position right now, even to say that, of course, you're on suspension and should not be allowed into the party's premises. But let's begin the conversation from looking at the various insecurity and instability across the country of various political parties. What do you make of all of this instability? Is it jeered? Is it can we say that this is caused by the ruling All Progressive Congress, as some people have alleged?
There is a popular saying. Once again, good evening, and then good evening, Nigerians. There is a popular saying in our local palace that the witch cried in the night. The baby dies in the morning. So these things are just very crystal clear. And then it's unfortunate that things like these are playing out in our political firmament at this material time. Is most unfortunate, because as it stands, whether you like it or not, the country is gradually, descending into a one political system. And then when that happens, then tyranny is inevitable. We are beginning to see flashes of tyranny here and there. The other day in Lagos State, was it yesterday or thereabouts, the former presidential candidate of Labour Party, his younger brother's business was actually pulled down and the house was demolished without any, legal backing and all that. Even when His Excellency Peter Obi sought for, explanations, nothing of such. We have also seen how other political, big trees are being harassed here and there. In Adamawa, we have the case of Alhaji Atiku Abubakar and so many of that. And then there is what we call the Lagos playbook. For those of us that are familiar with, the political political terrain of Lagos State, where there is a godfather somewhere who oversees all the affairs of the political parties in Lagos, and it's almost like he has implanted moves in other political parties, so in such a way that they cannot actually, be strong enough to challenge him politically. And then I'm afraid what we are witnessing largely in Nigeria now is the Lagos playbook, a situation whereby all other political parties would have been infiltrated by the ruling All Progressive Party, APC, and weaken every other political party for him to continue to tread upon and without any challenge or what have you. It's really unfortunate. And at this moment in time, I urge every well-thinking Nigerian that we must rise up to the occasion and condemn such acts, because whether we like it or not, it is going to spell doom for the country, I dare say, if we descend into a one political party system.
Well, this is quite interesting so far, but then let's talk about the issue around the SDP. It has been one very formidable and strong political party, but all of a sudden we see what is playing out in the SDP. When you look at all of this, can we say that the Lagos playbook has already been concluded, even with the SDP right now, with the various political instability creating the party?
But what you must understand is that the Lagos playbook is actually a priority as far as the ruling All Progressive political party is concerned. If the Lagos playbook is their priority, because if you look at SDP, is a story that is rich. SDP is a story that is rich in historical background. It has cult following. There are people till date who still resonate and align with SDP. So it's more like a cultural heritage for some persons. So it's a party that if you spring up today, you still have people from all walk of life going, trying to associate themselves with the SDP. And then I probably think this is the first time we're hearing this sort of controversies and crises in the Social Democratic Party. Because we heard the national chairman of the party. Of course, I do not take briefs for him. I speak to the president of Alhaji Shehu Gabam, who said that look, all these crises are orchestrated by those people who have become jittery, thinking that the SDP is going to be used as vehicle to convey the coalition, and that is why they have planted crisis and orchestrated crisis in the party, and that accounts for what we are seeing today. And it's not just in the SDP, it is basically everywhere. Every political party that seems to be formidable, that can stand a chance to challenge the All Progressive APC as led by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, look at this thing, look at the patterns of activities in those parties. It is always from one crisis to the other, and sometimes you begin to think, what is happening? This is the first time in the history of political parties since the turn of democracy in Nigeria.
Wow, this is getting really interesting. But then let's even talk about this whole political instability from the angle of the minority political parties that have this. It's like a wave greeting all political parties. We've seen what has played out. The only party that is spared right now, that's almost spared, is the Action Congress, African Action Congress, that is spared right now. But we don't know how deepened that will be in the coming days. It's as if whenever there is going to be, the coalition train is moving towards a direction, all of a sudden we hear that this political party is completely in disarray. ADC, the African Democratic Congress, was in peace and harmony until we heard that they were going to be the pilots that will champion the cause of the coalition so far. But we look at all of this playing out right now. Is there a future for coalition?
Oh, of course, of course. Without
the instability that is greeting a lot of political parties.
Let me tell you what is playing out. You see, just before the dawn is the darkest part of the night. Of course, we have seen that all these crises are going to play out. You see, when people come out to tell you that, oh, he tamed the Atlantic Ocean, he built Lagos State, he's the master strategist. These are the only strategies. We have seen him for who he is. We have seen them for who they are. The only strategy there is just to cause chaos and crisis. Of course, you're talking about AC, the Action Congress, not having any rancor. It is because it has not been thrown out there. A decoy has not been thrown out there. The coalition has not tested waters.
Even innocent APGA is also feeling the heat.
The reason APGA is facing the heat is because APGA is one formidable party that resonates deeply with the southeasterners of this country. That could also be a vehicle for the coalition. So the strategy, the so-called master strategist, the only strategy he has is not to come out fairly and test the elections. No, it's to make sure he cause crisis, weaken the very foundations of every other political party that he perceived could be a vehicle to convey the coalition. And that is the only thing playing out. You can look at the PDP today that has been badly hit. I dare say the PDP is the one that is most hit by the crisis. It is nearly in comatose. I do not even see how that party, the PDP, is going to come out of it.
Even though you're a party member.
Even though I'm a party member. And then speaking about hope, of course there is hope. It is only somebody that is not alive that the day you give up hope, the day is the day you seem to exist. You cease to exist. So as far as we are concerned, there is hope, and I know somehow we are going to rescue Nigeria from the stranglehold of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I promise you that. I promise Nigerians that. It is not. I know what I am saying. This Nigeria, with what is going on forget about the coalition. In 2027, I am telling you that it's going to be Nigerians, the masses, the downtrodden, the Nigerians that are hungry, that have no access to basic health care, that have no access to staple foods, the Nigerians that are not able to sleep with one eye closed. Is going to be those Nigerians, and they are in their vast majorities, in their millions. It's going to be those people against the political elites. It is not about political party. It is not about political party. But I am telling you that 2027 is going to be Nigerians versus the All Progressive Congress, APC, and Tinubu.
Well, when you speak of Nigerians, the last I checked, the number of voters on the voters registered by INEC tend to be largely dominated by the Nigerian youths. And right now, President Bola Tinubu is winning the hearts of Nigerian youth in a lot of instances where we have a lot of programs are lined up for Nigerian youth. Going by all of this narrative right now, we think the youth will want to also dance to the tune of coalition, knowing fully well that their hope so far has been renewed.
How does this policy, so to say, or these programs that are lined up for the youth, how has it impacted in the lives of the average youth of Nigerians? These are the questions. You see, it is possible that there are policies aimed at the youth demography of Nigeria, but I tell you, having seen what is playing out on the streets of Nigeria, having had this privilege to see the way things are going, these policies end up in the hands of youths that are politically inclined, and they are just few in the numbers. Look at the youths in Zamfara, the youths of Adamawa, the ones in Borno, the ones in Kogi, the ones in Uyo, the ones in Rivers. How has these policies been able to change their lives? It is not about giving people rice. Oh yes, we want to eat rice. It's not about you should give me rice today. The rice is not an eternal rice that is not going to finish. It's going to finish tomorrow. And then I will go back to begging again. No. We are talking about policies that will change the life of the average Nigerian. We're talking about policies that is going to enhance human living. Policies that is going to build the what do you call it? Capacity building for self-sustainability. It is not about gathering a few persons in their numbers, probably 200, 300 persons. You give them brown envelope, or you give them one bag of rice, and you think you've empowered them. Or you share keke na pep, you think you've empowered them. As far as I'm concerned, you are only trying to deepen the poverty crisis. And mind you, it is even only few youths that are politically inclined that have access to power. If there is a youth confab coming up now, I can tell you the number of people, and I can tell you the kind of people you see there. Every APC youth leader from across the country will be there.
The hope has been renewed.
Well, you say so. So what about the ordinary youth on the street? Who is going to renew their hope?
Probably when the all progressive youth hopes have been renewed, they can in turn renew other youth hopes.
Even that renewal is not even enough to renew their hope. So how can they even renew other people's hopes? What are we talking about?
It's getting interesting. So if I get you correctly, you were saying at this point in time that the youths that we have in the country will definitely not come out to support.
No, I don't see how that is going to happen. I do not see how. And let me tell you, although this election, 2027 election, I promise Nigerians, it's going to be unlike anything we've ever seen in the history of this country. No politician, be it PDP, be it APC, be it whatever, any politician that has a bad record in office will dare not think about writing figures. Nigerians are going to resist in their numbers within the law. Nigerians will resist because we are tired. The renewed hope has turned to renewed hopelessness.
Well, members of the renewed hope will disagree with you. Of course, they will say that David Itopa is not saying the right thing right now. But then, of course, you will sway to your opinion. But then let's talk in terms of this whole political instability in the country. We've seen Labour Party is divided into basically three factions right now. PDP is still in talks with INEC. Of course, Wike faction is still seeing Anyanwu as the secretary of the party. We're still talking about the SDP and other political parties that are springing forth even across the minority lane. We've not seen big wings, big talks and big collaborations within this minority political party prior to this time. So I'm curious to ask, are minority political parties coming together to form a coalition in order to just capture the mandates from President Bola Tinubu without even coming out with a uniform ideology? We've not seen them talk about ideology in this regards.
Let's take this bit by bit. You talked about the People's Democratic Party. You talked about People's Democratic Party being in talks with INEC. Yeah, the talk ended. And how did it end? INEC has told the People's Democratic Party that, look, you have sent in 3 names as National Secretary. We do not know who is your National Secretary. Go back in accordance to the judgment of the Supreme Court and do the right thing. What was the judgment of the Supreme Court? The Supreme Court simply, in layman's language, simply said, look, we do not have the powers to decide how you run your party. We do not have powers to tell you what to do in your party. It's strictly an internal party affair. Go back, conduct yourselves, and tell us who and produce who is the National Secretary of your party. Which, for me, I think that would have been the best form of the best decision that Supreme Court would have taken, even though to an extent there's a lacuna and it has not totally solved the issue of the National Secretary. But the fact that Supreme Court states that, look, you alone have the power and the authority to decide how you run your activities in the party is a win already for the party. It means there will be no further litigations in the nearest future as regards who is this person and who is not that person, who is occupying this office and who is not occupying that office. Now, having said that, the NWC sat and decided that, look, there is a petition from the Southeast Caucus to which Senator Samuel Anyanwu belongs. And then the report of that caucus, Southeast Caucus, said, look, since the day you went to contest for an election in Imo State, you cease to be the National Secretary of the party. Because it's more like being a judge in your own case. And then they presented the former National Youth Leader, Right Honorable S.K. Ude Okoye, to act in full capacity as the substantive National Secretary of the People's Democratic Party. And then this is where all this crisis ensued from. Now, the NWC agreed. The document is in public is in public space, and we saw the number of people that signed that letter. So it's almost like Damagu, the acting national chairman, is acting, alone. So because the NWC, they have the simple majority and said, look, Anyanwu ceased to be our national secretary. But I was surprised after the meeting with INEC today. Leaders that we thought would have simply followed the letters of our constitution and announced the rightful occupant of that office, decided to play into the hands of people who feel they are bigger than the party. They own the party to announce Senator Anyanwu. We have missed it completely. Because as long as, in fact, if you look at the headlines of the various media outlets today, it was boldly written, Wike's ally is now the National Secretary of the People's Democratic Party. And this is the same man who has made his intention known, who has told the whole world, you have told heaven and earth that, look, 2027, I am going to support Tinubu. There is nothing anybody can do about it. And he has no apologies. And then his ally is firmly in charge of PDP as the National Secretary. Come on. Do we need a soothsayer to tell us that the PDP, as it is presently considered, has become an arm or a support group of Tinubu's 2027 re-election bid? You don't need to resurrect TB Joshua to come and tell you that. It is in plain sight.
Well, since David Itopa has become the TB Joshua that doesn't need to be resurrected, of course, it's giving us a political prophecy already as it stands right now. But then I've been saying that it's time for us to go. I wish we have time to talk more.
I am always available.
We'll definitely bring you back to talk more as the prophet, political prophet, to resurrect the People's Democratic Party. But then remember, you can join the conversation on our various social media handle currently showing on your screen using at Global TV Engine. You can also download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app from your Android and iOS devices to keep track of our broadcast. My name is Godwin Sunday. Enjoy the rest of your evening.